Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
We have a podcast below in the description as well. Subscribe.
We're presented by our friends at Tito's Handmade Vodka.
#1 vodka in America, Tito's. Go make yourself a cocktail.
Mike McDaniel, the Niners offensive coordinator, said this week it's the first time Trey Lance is ever going to be in a stadium with fans hearing plays in a headset. He's never done that before. So what did you think of just watching the guy, non-Photoshop, real NFL 49er uniform on him, step onto the field for the first time at Levi's on Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was, like most people, a very cool moment. The anticipation was high. I was giddy all week, really, to watch this guy play in a game. Same with Justin Fields, who we'll get to later. And when he stepped on, I don't think he disappointed, right? They had a deep ball called the first play of the game. Kyle and Andy falls into this category too. They will poo-poo and say, we're just running our plays. We didn't no game plan. And like they knew what they were doing. And they tried to hit a deep bomb, the first pass of his unofficial NFL career. It wasn't there. He scrambles. He hits Brandon Ayuk, who's caught everything that you and I have seen, every practice we've been at. Not one ball has hit the ground. Hits his hands, hits the ground. That was kind of crazy. But then, what was it? I guess the second drive is when he hit the big touchdown to Sherfield. I mean, that's one of the plays of the weekend, I would say. Just a deep rollout. And I'm thinking this, that Jimmy Garoppolo and definitely Jared Goff, like that is a patented play in this offense, right? A deep play action to roll where you can stop. And it's just like, let it rip. Andy used to do that type play with Michael Vick, and you have Deshaun Jackson. And I just thought in my head, like, Jared Goff, he doesn't know what to do there. Jimmy might underthrow. Matt Stafford throws it. Patrick Mahomes throws it. Aaron Rodgers throws it. Trey Lance throws it.
Throws it, yeah. Looks for it, right? Wants it. Because he knows he can do it. And I think that's, maybe that's some of the familiarity with the offense and that he's comfortable in some of these play action situations, maybe more comfortable than a rookie would be. I don't know. I saw a little of Zach Wilson. I thought he looked pretty comfortable actually today. But
made some throws. Got to give him his credit.
Yeah, I mean, look, there were some people that thought Trey looked a little nervous. I thought he was, anytime you can run, anytime a quarterback has mobility, we talk about this balance between how much you want to run and how much you want to throw. Trey Lance looks to throw, and then he 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 might run a little, and while he's running, he's looking to throw, right? Like, if you watch some of Justin Fields, who we'll talk about later, he was looking to run. Trey Lance is going to run. But, I mean, he is – I think that was the number one thing for me just watching – just in terms of this part of it, just watching his mentality. He wants to push the ball down the field, and he does not look to run. And I think even a little bit maybe to his detriment tonight, he took 4 sacks. He's behind the second-team offensive line. That's a big part of it.
Took 4 sacks would be – I know what you're saying.
Got sacked 4 times. I wouldn't say it that way if I hadn't thought in practice. He took a few sacks too. Spun into a sack in the red zone when we watched him in red zone period at camp the other day. So I do think part of that, it's hard to assign exactly how much goes to each person. I think part of that is him holding onto the football to try and make a play with his arms. And, I think the running aspect of it will come. But I actually like the fact that he's constantly trying to make a play with his arms and not break out of the pocket, not run away, not pulling the ball down at the first opportunity.
I had a friend text me and asked, did you think Trey looked a little slow going from guy to guy, like in the pocket, 1 to 3? And I'd say relative to Jimmy, like I'd say one thing Jimmy hangs his hat on, he can go from the right side to the left side in warp speed, right?
And he can unload the ball very quickly.
So that Trey Lance does not have that yet. I am not going to nitpick him, just like I wouldn't on any rookie quarterback, to just be, at Jimmy's level doing that stuff. And I'm not looking for him to do that. I also think this. Preseason, and I learned this from Louis Riddick, you have to put it into context, right? Some of these plays are awesome. All these guys are making. But it's against random players, and sometimes they're disastrous plays. Right when they're scrambling around or a guy sacks them, like it's with a guy that's never going to see the field, at least early on in the NFL up front. So you're just you're not as sure. And then once you get hit, you start thinking, well, I know this guy is a starter. Is this guy going to get me killed? I'm not making excuses, but I'm just saying that like it is a hard thing to judge. Despite I thought what he showed, there would be some highs, there'll be some lows with any young quarterback. But his physical talent is beyond immense. And I think he pretty much fully displayed that. Beside, I guess they didn't run him at all when you think about it. None of the zone runs,
Right.
which is
To
something that
protect
every day
him or
you and
to
I've
hide
been
it?
impressed.
To protect him or to hide the plays?
I think it's to hide it.
Because they're going to use the plays no matter who's the week one. Even if he's not the week one starter, they're going to use the plays. John, let's tell the people about our friends at DraftKings. Promo code HAM.
Daily fantasy, baby. Download the DraftKings app. Use the promo code HAM. Get in our league. You can find it below in the description. DraftKings, download the app, promo code HAM. Yeah, I mean, they had him under center. They had him just doing like normal Kyle Shanahan plays.
He almost threw a couple of picks. Or might have almost been 3. I don't have to go back to the GFF. We'll check Twitter later. But I think the Charlie Warner throw to me was another one that doesn't necessarily stand out like a couple of the others. The Ayuk drop or the Sherfield throw or the Craycraft drop, or the other Richie James drop. But it was what I've seen from him in camp, which is him doing the basic things like, okay, we need this basic throw. Are you going to be able to do if we drop the right play, are you going to be able to hit it? And the answer to that, I think, is yes. Yeah. And that's why I've been really impressed with him in camp. And what did we also say in camp? It's like the best play. You said this the other day. The highlight of 49ers camp to this point was a play he made after he should have been sacked on a throw to Sherfield a couple of weeks ago. Well, today, there's no should have been sacked. You get sacked or you don't get sacked. They're chasing you. So the plays he made today counted.
Yeah, listen, and if you go to twitter.com and you got Grant and Lombardi going back and forth, here's what I'd say to both of them. I don't feel either of your numbers mean that much to me. Because like you just said, I don't know what fucking counts or what does not in practice. This is what you can't argue about a preseason game. It's he either gets the throw off or he gets sacked, right? There's a finality to the play. There's no like, 95 for the Chiefs. He tapped him on the butt and said, go finish this play.
Or that
and then
ball
in practice, everyone's marking.
Or their balls, he completed a ball in practice the other day that you said that's a pick. The safety pulls up, doesn't even mess with a collision, right? In practice.
100%. So like that is the games, and the coaches harp on this all the time. Even though we, and I'm as guilty as anyone, make fun of these games, rip on them, just in terms of the level of play, they are a completely higher level of play than practice, right? Just in terms of making a throw with a safety. Yeah, it's I mean, a guy's just not going to stop. If Aaron Banks gets smoked, and I had an NFL exec text me, he's got slow feet. We didn't like him very much, which makes me a little nervous, and he looked like he had slow feet, and he can't beat out Brunskill, who's in the AAF. But if he gets smoked, like Trey doesn't get to just hit a deep bomb to, Richie drop it, but one of these guys. So you do kind of feel
Sherfield, John. Sherfield. That's who. Just use Sherfield.
Yeah, use Sherfield. But by then he wouldn't even be in the game.
Yeah, you protecting him because he might be your fourth receiver. Yeah. Him and Juwan Jennings. I mean, Juwan Jennings, another guy. Like, it's the other thing. Kyle kind of tells you what he's trying to do. When play calls tell you what a coach is trying to do, and he's not messing around with 3 reads and Jennings. He's getting bubble screens to Jennings to get him the football and see if he can make a play or two, right?
Yeah, I guess we'll get into him versus Jimmy here in a second, but there are things that he brings to the table. You have to be able to live with a young player, right? And I think this day and age of, like, I don't get as bothered by mistakes when it's talented guys. I just don't. I get bothered, like, to me, when I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm sure you did too because you text me, like when I see a River Craycraft drop, in my head, you might call me an asshole. I think I'd cut him tomorrow. Like, what's the point? And then Kyle was, we need guys to run practice. I'm like, you're right. But, like, if you told me they just relieved him of his duties tomorrow, like, I wouldn't complain. This is the National Football League where star players, when they fuck up, star young talents. I go, yeah, it's part of the deal. Learn through it.
Well, yeah, I mean, right, if you throw 13 picks and 7 touchdowns, you're out. If you threw 13 picks and 38 touchdowns, you're in.
But like Trey Lance, for example, if he started all 17 games, he would be liable to throw, and obviously Jimmy would too, but 15 interceptions. Or hell, a pick a game, average a pick a game. He could throw 17 touchdowns.
That's a lot of picks.
Do you think that would be out of the realm of possibility?
I don't think it'd be out of the realm of possibility. I agree with your premise. 17 is a ton for a team that's trying to be good and can run the football, and you hope is good on defense and can, you know what I mean? Like, so 17 is a lot. But yeah, I do think he.
Do you think the Niners quarterbacks throw 17 between the two of them? Throw 17 picks this year?
I think it might be close to that number.
Yeah,
because Garoppolo's liable to do it, and he doesn't give. Like, that's the point, right? And again, you take some of the good with it. The more good you get, the more bad you're willing to tolerate. It's very simple.
Yeah. And I guess that's my ultimate point with them. Like, listen, I'm going to beat the drum until it's official, and it might not be official for 2 months, a month, who knows? But you have to accept, like, even once he starts playing, there is going to be some stupid ass shit that he does. Like, it's just, there are going to be plays that look terrible. There just are. That would happen with any player, right? I mean, Peyton Manning, I think, threw 20 picks or whatever his rookie year. Like, that's just part of the deal. And I'm not even just talking picks. I'm talking potentially like running out in a pocket, leaving the ball down low, getting it stripped, just little things that he could have some disastrous plays given the way he plays, right?
Yeah. But he could have some great plays. And so the question is, is your team good enough to handle whatever rookie mistakes get made? And this is, I go back to what I said a couple of days ago about playing the Lions week 1, playing the Eagles week 2. Can you beat them just by making no mistakes? Can you beat the Lions week 1 just by not, like, hey, we don't throw any picks, we don't fumble the football, we don't do anything stupid on special teams, we're going to win this football game, right? I think the answer to that's probably yes.
I think the Eagles are probably a lot better than the Lions. They just have way better players.
Your quarterback is just is more dynamic. We know what you can do defensively against Goff.
Yeah, they have some really good tight ends. I mean, Devontae Smith will be there by then. Jalen Reagor's a talent from what I've heard in practice. Fletcher Cox is a motherfucker. They got Darius Slay. Like, they have more impact players than the Lions. Listen, I think the Eagles are like a 6-7 win team. But, I mean, the Lions, I'm not going to put too much in their preseason game. Seriously, guy, they might win 2 games. they could be really bad. So I would just say, like,
no one's ever gone 1-16. Or 2-15. 2-15
Nope.
is no one's ever done 2-15, John.
that is true.
I thought it looked.
You do get it. You got to get your feet under you against whoever you play, and it is easier to get your feet under you against the Lions than it would be the Packers or the Rams, right?
Yeah,